Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Neon Lights. And this is a new thriller about a tech tycoon, Clay Amani, who winds up going off the grid, trying to reconnect with some of his estranged siblings, while also being pressured by some kind of entity named Denver, played by Kim Coates. And writer and star Dana Abraham plays Clay, as this is directed by Rouzbeh, Heydari, and this film doesn't click a whole lot. There's definitely moments where there's tense moments, it builds up suspense, and generally it has a potentially interesting setup of some human drama, but I never really buy what the hell's going on with this whole thing that's trying to tempt Clay into harming his loved ones, and whether it's some kind of expression of like this is some embodiment of mental illness or he's being possessed or something like that. I don't know if it's ever really clear, but I also don't think it's handled very well either. It feels very, especially if this is meant to be some kind of representation of mental illness, definitely didn't represent it very with very much finesse or care, to be perfectly honest. And I feel like this film kind of fumbles the ball on that. You have Clay, played by Abraham, who feels like a bunch of thrown together quirks and collections that don't really feel like a really convincing character on screen. Like, I didn't buy him at all most of the time. And you had his siblings and friends, like, they were so unlikable that it's just like when things started happening, you're just like, but why do I care? Clay, not really likable either. And it's really hard to connect with this film when you don't really care about anybody. Everybody is pretty unlikable. But like you do have you have Brenna Coates, and you do have the younger daughter, Erika, Swayze's Blair, who, like, you kind of feel for them, but, like, basically they just set up Blair with, like, hey, let's have a nerdy scene with her and Clay at one moment. It's like, oh, we'll love her then. It's just, like, the film doesn't spend enough time really fleshing out these characters in a way that we actually care for them. And everybody's, like, aggressively mean to each other. And after a while, you're just like, bodies piling up, and I don't find myself caring at all. And if it wasn't for some of the atmosphere and some of the tension that Heydari sets up as a director, this really wouldn't have much going for it. And like, it has a potentially interesting concept, but it just doesn't feel like it's fleshed out well or told well from like a story standpoint. In the end, I felt kind of hollow by the time the credits started rolling, and you know, it has like fun little stinger kind of ending, and you're just like, yeah, that didn't make me feel anything. It didn't make me like, oh my god. No, at that point, I just really felt disconnected from this film, and it kept cutting back between what's going on at this like weekend getaway and this seemingly like therapist appointment where Clay's trying to process through all of these, well, and it's pretty unclear about like what the timeline is for that either. And in the end, it felt like a messy, undercooked kind of thriller that had some elements of promise there, but never really came together. So probably wouldn't recommend this one. But those are my thoughts on Neon Lights. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.